Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving into this concept of acceptance.
Oh, interesting.
But not the kind of acceptance where you just give up.
Right.
We're talking about how to really cultivate it so you can handle pretty much anything life throws at you.
Yeah.
Think of it
Like building up a skill.
yeah, exactly. Building up a mental toolkit
Okay.
to help you navigate all those curveballs life throws at you with a little more grace
I like it.
and maybe even some humor along the way.
Absolutely.
Our guide for this journey is going to be this source called Eclectic Scout.
Okay.
They've got some really insightful tips and tools
Interesting.
drawn from all kinds of different wisdom traditions.
You know what's fascinating about Eclectic Scout is that they have this really eclectic approach.
Yeah,
It's like this blend of ancient philosophies and modern psychology
I noticed that.
and even martial arts.
Yeah.
But all of them are pointing towards practical ways to enhance your life.
So let's unpack this toolkit. One thing I noticed that they emphasize is mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've heard a lot about mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still a little fuzzy on how it actually helps with acceptance.
Okay.
Can you maybe shed some light on that for me and for our listeners?
Absolutely. You see,
Yeah.
mindfulness is about becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions as they come up,
Okay.
but without immediately reacting to them.
Right.
So instead of just being swept away
Mm-hmm.
by every single feeling,
Yeah.
you create a space to observe it.
That's interesting.
So it's like you're hitting a pause button
Okay.
on autopilot,
Mhm.
so you can then choose a more skillful response.
So instead of freaking out when somebody cuts me off in traffic,
Yeah, great example.
mindfulness would help me notice that I'm angry,
Right.
but not let it control my actions.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Okay.
That space between the trigger and your reaction,
Yeah.
that's where acceptance can actually take root.
And it's not about suppressing your emotions. It's more about becoming aware of them
Right.
and then choosing how you want to respond.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah,
But sometimes those emotions feel so intense.
they do.
Does Eclectic Scout have any techniques for those moments when I
Yeah.
feel like I'm about to explode?
They do.
Okay.
That's where breathwork comes in.
Okay.
Specifically techniques from pranayama.
Pranayama.
Yeah, you've probably heard of yoga.
Sure.
Pranayama takes that a step further with focused breathing exercises.
Okay. Full disclosure, pranayama sounds a bit intimidating.
I know.
Can you break that down for our listeners and me?
Yeah.
Is it really as mystical as it sounds?
Not at all.
Okay.
There's one pranayama technique that's really simple.
Okay.
It's called box breathing.
Box breathing.
And it's something that even Navy SEALs use
Oh, wow.
to calm their nerves
Really?
in these high-pressure situations.
Interesting.
Just imagine a box.
Okay.
So you inhale for a count of 4.
It-
You hold your breath for 4.
Got it.
Exhale for 4.
Okay.
And hold again for 4.
4 seconds each.
Yep. And you just keep repeating that cycle
Okay.
and just focusing on your breath.
It's like creating a rhythm
Exactly.
with your breath.
Yes.
I can see how that could be calming.
Yeah.
Is it really that simple?
It really is.
Wow.
And the science behind it is fascinating.
Okay.
Deep conscious breathing like that actually helps to regulate your nervous system.
Interesting.
When you're stressed, your breath gets really shallow and rapid, right?
Mhm.
That's your fight or flight response
Right.
kicking in.
Interesting.
And box breathing can literally help shift you from that reactive state to a more receptive one.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed that when I'm stressed,
Right.
my breath gets all messed up.
Yeah.
So you're saying that just paying attention to my breath could actually be a game changer.
It absolutely can.
Wow.
You're basically interrupting that automatic stress response and giving yourself a chance to choose a more thoughtful response.
So we've got mindfulness to create space
Mm-hmm.
and breath work to calm the nervous system.
Yep.
Eclectic Scout also talks about journaling as a key to acceptance.
Right.
I used to think journaling was kind of self-indulgent,
I know a lot of people think that.
but I'm open to hearing more about it.
Yeah.
For those of us who haven't quite jumped on that journaling bandwagon yet.
Okay, so it's more than just venting or self-expression,
Mm-hmm.
although that has its place,
Right.
putting your thoughts and feelings into words.
Okay.
It actually helps you to process them in a deeper way.
That's interesting.
So imagine replaying a frustrating event
Okay.
in your mind over and over again.
Yeah.
You're keeping yourself stuck in that negativity.
Right.
Journaling can help you detach from that loop
Okay.
and actually gain some clarity.
So you're saying it's about getting those thoughts and feelings out of my head and onto paper,
Precisely.
where I can look at them objectively.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once you have that distance,
Yeah.
you can begin to understand your reactions better.
Mm-hmm.
And Choose how you want to respond.
So it's like I'm creating a record of
Yeah.
my inner landscape,
Exactly.
which can reveal all these patterns and insights that I might not otherwise see.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see the value in that.
Good.
So we've covered mindfulness, breathwork, and journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Eclectic Scout also brings up cultivating compassion and empathy
Oh, yeah.
as part of this acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, is that really about acceptance? Or are we like venturing into a whole different realm here?
That might seem like a detour,
Yeah.
but stay with me.
Okay.
When you can really understand another person's perspective
Right.
and emotions,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes so much harder to like hold on to
Okay.
anger, resentment, or
Right.
resistance towards them.
That makes sense.
And that can open the door
Yeah.
to accepting situations that involve those people.
So instead of like automatically judging somebody's actions, I
Mhm.
try to step into their shoes and
Yeah.
see things from their point of view.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll admit I can be pretty quick to judge sometimes.
We all do it.
Especially when I haven't really bothered to understand the situation.
Yeah. And compassion isn't just about other people.
Right.
It's also about extending that same kindness and understanding to ourselves.
To ourselves.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all have flaws.
That's true.
Learning to forgive ourselves is crucial
Yeah.
for cultivating true acceptance.
You know, I used to be so hard on myself for every little mistake.
I know.
It took me a while to realize that like beating myself up
Right.
wasn't helping anyone.
Exactly.
Especially me.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to like actually practice
Mhm.
self-compassion?
So it's a practice.
Okay.
Just like anything else.
Right.
It starts with becoming aware of your inner critic.
Oh, that inner critic.
That voice that's constantly judging,
Yeah.
criticizing you.
I know that voice well.
Once you can recognize it,
Yeah.
you can start to challenge those negative thoughts.
Okay.
So ask yourself, would I say this to a friend?
Oh, that's a good one.
If not, why am I saying it to myself?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Right?
I never talk to a friend the way I sometimes talk to myself.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got mindfulness, breathwork, journaling, and compassion.
Yeah.
It's like we're building this fortress of acceptance
Right.
brick by brick.
Yeah.
But then Eclectic Scout brings up this interesting analogy
Oh, yeah.
about responding to challenges like a martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a bit unconventional, but I'm intrigued.
Okay.
What's the thinking there?
So it's about shifting
Okay.
from resistance to adaptability.
Interesting.
You see, martial arts isn't about brute force.
Right.
It's about leveraging your opponent's energy,
Oh, okay.
flowing with it,
Mm-hmm.
rather than meeting it head on.
Instead of tensing up and resisting,
Yeah.
I learned to yield and adapt.
Yeah.
So instead of resisting change,
Mm-hmm.
I learned to like dance with it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but how do I actually do that?
Okay.
I mean, it's one thing to say go with the flow,
Right.
but it's another to actually do it when life throws a punch.
So that's where the practice comes in.
Okay.
Think about it this way. You're facing a really difficult situation.
Mm-hmm.
Your instinct might be to push back,
Yeah.
to fight it
Right.
with everything you've got.
Yeah.
But what if you took a breath,
Okay.
assessed the situation,
Mm.
and found a way to adapt,
Yeah.
and maybe even use that challenge to your advantage?
So instead of trying to control everything,
Right.
I'm learning to be more flexible
Yeah.
and resourceful,
Yeah.
like water,
Yes.
as Bruce Lee said.
Oh, yeah.
Water adapts to whatever container it's in.
It doesn't fight the rocks. It flows around them.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of this approach.
Yeah.
You're not being passive.
Right.
You're being strategic
Okay.
and resilient.
I like that.
You're acknowledging the reality of the situation,
Mm.
but finding creative ways to work with it.
It's like judo, using your opponent's force against them.
Exactly.
So we've covered some really practical tools,
Mm-hmm.
but Eclectic Scout also delves into the wisdom of some ancient traditions
Yeah.
like Stoicism, Buddhism,
Yep.
and Taoism.
I love those.
I've always been curious about these philosophies,
Yeah,
but they can feel a little intimidating.
I get that.
Do they really like hold up
Mm-hmm.
in our modern fast-paced world?
More than ever, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, these philosophies may be ancient,
Right.
but the core principles are surprisingly relevant
Okay.
to the challenges we face today.
Interesting.
They offer this timeless wisdom
Yeah.
for navigating the ups and downs of life
Mhm.
with more grace
Right.
and resilience.
Okay, that's intriguing, but I have to admit I'm not really familiar with these traditions.
Okay.
Could you give us like a crash course?
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways
Yeah, what's-
from each of these philosophies when it comes to acceptance?
Let's start with Stoicism.
Okay.
Stoicism emphasizes accepting what's beyond our control.
Okay.
It's about focusing on our own responses and actions,
Right.
not on things that we can't change.
So like that old saying,
Yeah.
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change,
Yeah.
the courage to change the things I can,
Mhm.
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Exactly.
So if I'm stuck in traffic,
Mm-hmm.
instead of getting all worked up about something I can't control,
Right.
Stoicism would say I should like focus on what I can control,
Yeah.
like my attitude,
Exactly.
or, listening to a podcast.
There you go.
Is that right?
Exactly. You're choosing to focus your energy
Right.
on what you can influence,
Okay.
which is a much more empowering approach.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stoicism is about controlling what you can.
Okay.
What about Buddhism?
Buddhism, on the other hand, is all about letting go of attachments and recognizing the impermanence of everything.
Interesting.
So it helps us understand that suffering
Yeah.
often arises
Mm-hmm.
from clinging to things
Right.
that are constantly changing.
Yeah.
Acceptance in this context
Okay.
is about recognizing that impermanence of life
Mhm.
and finding peace amidst that constant change.
So Buddhism would say that instead of clinging to the idea of like a perfect job
Right.
or a perfect relationship,
Yeah,
I should accept that things change and that's okay.
precisely.
Okay.
It's about finding peace in the present moment
Mm-hmm.
rather than clinging to how you think things should be or how they used to be.
That's a really different way of looking at things.
It.
It sounds challenging, but also incredibly liberating.
Oh.
Okay, so Stoicism is about controlling what you can.
Mm,
Buddhism is about letting go of what you can't.
okay.
Where does Taoism fit into all of this?
So Taoism is all about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life.
Okay.
Embraces this concept of wu wei, which means effortless action
Okay.
or non-doing.
Interesting.
It's not about being passive.
Right.
It's about finding harmony with the way things are,
Okay.
rather than forcing our will upon the world.
So instead of constantly striving and struggling,
Right.
Taoism would say I should be more receptive,
Yeah.
more attuned to the natural rhythms of life.
Yes.
Okay, that's starting to click.
Good.
It's like surrendering to the current instead of constantly swimming upstream.
Exactly.
These philosophies are really making me think.
Me too.
I can see how they could offer some real guidance even in our modern world.
Absolutely. They offer a different perspective,
Yeah.
a way of reframing our challenges
Right.
and finding peace within ourselves,
Mm.
regardless of what's happening around us.
This has been really helpful.
Good.
I think I need to do a little more research on
Yeah.
these philosophies.
Okay.
But for now, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Eclectic Scout also emphasizes the importance of humor in cultivating acceptance.
That's a good one.
I can see how humor can like lighten the mood, but is there something deeper going on here?
Absolutely. Humor can be an incredibly powerful tool
Mhm.
for navigating difficult times.
Right.
It's not about denying the seriousness
Yeah.
of a situation.
Right.
It's about finding a way to detach
Mm-hmm.
from the intensity of our emotions
Okay.
and approach things with a lighter heart.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, this is a mess,
Right.
but at least it's a funny mess.
Exactly.
It helps keep things in perspective.
It does.
Yeah.
It's about finding that little bit of lightness,
Right.
that spark of joy,
Mm-hmm.
even when things are tough.
I like that.
And sometimes a little self-deprecation
Yeah.
go a long way.
That's true.
Being able to laugh at yourself
Yeah.
is a sign of true self-acceptance.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was learn to laugh at yourself because you're going to be the punchline a lot.
Oh, that's good.
And it's true.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
You do.
We all do dumb things.
Yeah.
And being able to laugh at those moments
Yeah.
is a real gift.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about not taking ourselves too seriously,
Right.
recognizing that we're all
Yeah.
perfectly imperfect human beings,
That's true.
doing our best.
So we've got mindfulness, breath work, journaling, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
ancient philosophies, and now humor.
Yeah, we've got a lot of tools.
It's like Eclectic Scout has given us a whole arsenal
we do.
of tools for cultivating acceptance.
An acceptance arsenal.
What I'm really curious about is how these tools actually play out
Yeah.
in real life.
Right.
It's one thing to talk about these concepts,
Mhm.
but it's another to actually put them into practice.
For sure.
What are some specific practices or techniques that have helped you
Okay.
cultivate acceptance in your own life?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it leads us perfectly into the next part of
Okay.
our deep dive.
Right.
We've explored the concepts.
Yay.
Now let's get personal and
Yeah.
share some of the practices that
Right.
helped us navigate our own journeys with acceptance.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Please click like and then subscribe. Also share this video with your friends. Thank you.